All right, well, we're back in here for another week. It is 10:30 at Smith Street Baptist Church. Sending out the alert to everybody on the app now. So that's what that noise was if it vibrated, as you hear. Getting folks back in action, or back in routine, if you will. Now, we are in the Pastor's Weekly Address. I'm Chester Proctor, pastor, Smith Street Baptist Church. Glad you're with me this morning. Going to go ahead and jump right in before we talk about announcements and all that jazz on this last day of the month with our Proverbs, our 31st proverb. It says, "These are the words of King Lemuel, an oracle of wisdom handed down to him by his mother. What shall I say to you, my son? What wisdom can I impart, child of my womb? What insight can I share, son of my vows? Do not waste your strength on women or invest yourself in women who would destroy even kings. Take care, my son, O Lemuel. Kings should not drink too much wine, or rulers should not crave strong drink, for if they do, they will become drunk and forget the decree they just made, and alter the course of justice for all the poor and afflicted. Rather give liquor to one who is dying, and offer wine to those struggling with life's harsh realities. Let such a one drink and forget what he's missing. Then perhaps he won't remember his sorrows anymore. Speak out on behalf of those who have no voice, and defend all those who have been passed over. Open your mouth, judge fairly, and stand up for the rights of the afflicted and the poor." Let's stop here and talk about what we just read. King Lemuel's mother is warning him of the dangers of women and wine, and in different ways, both have brought down great leaders. Both can be certainly distractions to a king's true work of this time, which would be defending the poor. So understand, it's not saying go and get drunk because you're having a bad day. It's he was talking, or she was talking and writing to explain how it can distract you as a leader and distract him as a king and us as leaders and us with the mission that God has on us. In verse 10, it continues, "Who can find a truly excellent woman, one who is superior in all that she is and that she does? Her worth far exceeds that of rubies and expensive jewelry. She inspires trust, and her husband's heart is safe with her. And because of her, he has every good thing. Every day of her life, she does what is best for him, never anything harmful or hurtful. Delight attends her work and guides her fingers as she selects the finest wool and flax for her spinning. She moves through the market like merchant ships that dock here and there in distant ports. Finally arriving home with food she's carried from afar. She rises from bed early in the still of the night, carefully preparing food for her family and providing a portion to her servants. She has a plan. She considers some land and buys it. Then with her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She wraps herself in strength, carries herself with confidence, and works hard, strengthening her arms for the task at hand. She tastes success and knows it is good, and under lamplight she works deep into the night. Her hands skillfully place the unspun flax and wool on the distaff, and her fingers twist the spindle until thread forms. She reaches out to the poor and extends mercy to those in need. She's not worried about the cold or snow for her family, for she has clothed them in warm crimson coats. She makes her own bed linens and clothes herself in purple and fine cloth. Everyone recognizes her husband in the public square, and no one fails to respect him as he takes his place of leadership in the community. She marks linen garments and sells them in the market, and she supplies belts for tradesmen to carry across the sea. Clothed in strength and dignity, with nothing to fear, she smiles when she thinks about the future. She conducts her conversations with wisdom, and the teachings of kindness is ever her concern. She directs the activities of her household, and never does she indulge in laziness. Her children rise up and bless her. Her husband too joins in praise, saying, 'There are some, indeed many, women who do well in every way. But of all of them, only you are truly excellent.' Charm can be deceptive, and physical beauty will not last. But a woman who reveres the eternal should be praised above all others. Celebrate all that she has achieved, to let her accomplishments publicly praise her." Now, this is an acrostic poem, verses 10 through 31, from the Hebrew writings and that have been collected to wrap up the book of Proverbs. And the real big point here is that marrying the right person is one of the most important decisions people ever make. Most people. They got to choose wisely and carefully. And so the book of Proverbs is ending with a tribute to a wise choice in wife. And this is sometimes known as the Proverbs wife. She's strong, independent, capable, cares for her husband, her family, and the poor. Look at that. She's strong, independent, capable, and cares for her husband, her family, and the poor. Women, a Proverbs wife doesn't just care for her husband and family, but cares for the poor as well. She runs the whole household. In ancient Israel, this would mean a large extended family, not just the mom, dad, and a couple kids. This included servants with all their activities and the family business. And so what would her husband do? Well, he would publicly sing her praises before the community leaders. The Voice that I read from today talks about being in the public square. Most versions will translate that as being at the city gates, where business was taken care of and handled for the community. And this husband goes and he praises her at the community before the community leaders. And then those who know her would admire her for her skills. They'd admire her for her industry, for her character. And so she is definitely a woman to be serve as an example to women and wives all over the world. And so we want to make sure that we recognize that today. So ladies, I want to encourage you to be that kind of woman, be that kind of wife. If you're not a wife, but you're a woman, be that kind of woman as best as you can. And if one day God marries you to someone, then be that kind of wife. It's important. One of the biggest important parts of my ministry is the support of my wife. If I don't have that, it is extremely difficult for me to stay focused and to do ministry. So just an encouraging word from God's word today, the Proverbs and Proverbs 31. Next week we'll be in what? Proverbs 7. We'll be in Proverbs 7 next week. So encouraging you to read your Proverbs every day and spend time with God. Let's talk about a couple things. Just an update. Wayne Beckham, one of our members, has been placed in hospice care. I found out this morning with community hospice. I think, and I don't know, I think it's going to continue to be home care right now. I know that was the plan, but nevertheless, I do know for a fact that he is receiving that care. So keep Wayne in your prayers and visit if you can, call if you can, but to keep those short so that he can rest as much as possible. Keep Janine and the family in your prayers as well. And for all those that are sick or hurting or struggling today, we want to keep them in our prayers and just remember them in bulk. The prayer list has gone out, so make sure you get, if you have not received that in your email, let me know, email me, and I'll be glad to cover that. Let me talk about send that to you. Let me talk about what's coming up on Wednesday night. Wednesday, we're going to begin with, Lord willing, the creation of humanity and talk about Genesis as we go through our chronological Bible study in the service, in the sanctuary. It starts at 7 o'clock, and your reading this week is continuing on through further than I'd originally planned. So today's reading is actually Genesis 5:18 through 32. If you read through Genesis 6:9 through 22, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be through the Cain and Abel, through Noah, and through parts of the flood. So be prepared for that by reading. It's in the bulletin. If you need a copy of the bulletin because you've lost yours, we have digital copies. We don't mail them out, but we can if you need a copy. So I want to encourage you to get that because the daily Bible reading plan is on the bulletin for you. Also, coming up on Sunday's message, the second oracle, which is honor God out of Malachi 1:6 through 2:9. I'll continue the study in Malachi. We had a good service yesterday, thanks to our singers and our folks that supported and came and encouraged, and we had a lot of guests. I don't want to make this about money, so all I'm going to say is that we need to continue to be faithful in our tithes and our offerings so that we continue to do the ministry that God has placed here at Smith Street. So if you're not currently a tither or a giver, or you've been unable to do so, I don't know if you're a tither or a giver. Even if you were sitting right here, I don't know. I don't want to know that stuff unless I have to for some reason. Otherwise, it's best that I just don't know it. But I do know that our offering was barely over $1,000 yesterday, which is about $1,200 less than what we need on a weekly average. So what we need to do is just want to pray and ask God to continue to bless us and continue to handle that. And if you are a member and you're not giving, I want to encourage you to please do so. Now, you can do so on the app, and you can do so today on the app. If you are a member and you don't want to give on the app, please prayerfully consider following the obedience and direction of God, because it is very important. It's not that I really just want to be honest. I don't come out and ask for money and want money and talk money and that because I'm a money hungry fiend. The truth is, it's just how God equips us to do ministry, and we can't do certain ministries without your support. God expects you to do that. He expects me to do that, and so I'm asking you to be obedient with God so we can continue to do or continue to be used by God to do amazing things. Speaking of amazing things, coming up Sunday, we're going to be having our deacon ordination for Andrew Lillard. We're going to have a potluck supper, so bring something for lunch after that so that we can, not a supper, but a lunch, dinner, and so bring something after for that if you'd like. If you can't bring something, still come and eat with us and enjoy the celebration. Remember, Pastor's Breakfast is coming up on Sunday morning. And anybody who wants to come to that needs to call the church at 537-8661 or contact me some way, an email or what have you, and register for that so we can have enough food for you. The Back to School Bash, an outdoor concert featuring the group Scarlet Fade, is going to be on the 5th, Saturday, the 5th of August. So that's this coming Saturday, 2 until 6 p.m. If you have information, if you need information or you want to help out, contact Sarah Toller, or you can contact the church and we'll get you Sarah's information. But it's important that everybody be a part of that Back to School Bash if at all possible. We're sending out somewhere in the neighborhood of 450 flyers. We're sending flyers to Sally D. Meadows in the 5th grade, but of course they're going to announce it to the entire school. We're sending flyers to the Boys and Girls Club, and we'll be passing out some in the neighborhood here. So important for you to do that, be here so that we can have a great opportunity to serve and minister to the children and the community that is around us. This morning I want to share something before we wrap up with you that I got in my email box. I get a lot of emails and blogs and different articles, and so typically what I do is I read these articles, the title. And if the title interests me, I'll go on and read the article or the blog post. If I'm not interested in the title, then I just delete it and move on. I guess that goes to show you why having a catchy title is very important in your writings. But I go on, and one I got today comes from Eric Geiger, who is one of the vice presidents at Lifeway and in Nashville. And Eric has a lot of good stuff on his blog. I like to read his stuff regularly. But I contacted him first thing this morning and asked him if I could use this on our podcast today so that I could share it with you, and he said absolutely. So we get this from Eric Geiger's blog. It's 6 questions you should be asking those you lead. So in other words, these are the questions as pastor I should be asking you. If any of these answers are something that you want to follow up on, please contact me up here at the church at 537-8661 or email me at proctorched@gmail.com or come by and set up an appointment. And I would love to find out more about this. So here's questions. Do you have what you need from me? Eric Geiger says that great leaders seek to ensure those that they lead have the necessary resources for their roles. So they work hard to remove obstacles, organizational bureaucracy, barriers, things that slow you down. So if I can do something to help you be a leader, to help you lead your team, to lead your department, your class, whatever it is, if I can help you in that way, let me know. The big question is, do you have what you need from me right now? And if you don't, let me know what it is you need, and I'll try to make sure that I get that for you. The next question that leaders should be asking people they lead is, are you growing? And I do care about you. I care about whether or not you're growing in this church, as in the ministry, growing in your faith, growing in the leadership if you have that. But if you're not in a leadership position, still, are you growing in your faith? Are you growing in your study? And if you're not, I can equip you to do that. God has gifted me and blessed me with resources to equip you to do that. That's my calling according to Ephesians 4:11. So I want to be able to equip you, and I want you to let me know you're not being equipped. That may mean we sit down, we talk about your daily Bible study, we figure out a plan that works for you, give you resources, whatever it is. I've done that before. That kind of stuff excites me. I want to be there for you. The next thing is, what is the greatest opportunity? It's different than what's your biggest problem. It's focusing on the positive. What's your greatest opportunity? What's something you want to get your hands on ministry-wise? Something you want to get your hands on, the greatest opportunity you feel God leading you to do. Tell me about it. I'd love to hear about that. Maybe I can help you. The fourth is, how is our strategy impacting your work? What is our strategy for becoming people who love God, love people, and make disciples? What is our strategy of 24 to double? Getting people in through the pastor's breakfast and then getting them connected and getting them into the gifts and talents and then figuring out where they can serve and where they can grow and where they can form community. How can we do that? How's that impacting your work? Is it impacting what you do? And along the same line, how are our values driving what you do? Values are words on a wall, and they can be, and not how it impacts what we do. So, are we really staying focused on loving God, loving people, and making disciples? And that can help us. And the last thing is, who are you developing? Who are you discipling? You are responsible for developing and discipling other people. I can equip you to do that. I can set it up very easily for you to become an equipper or a disciple maker of other people. So how are you doing it? Thanks to Eric Geiger for allowing me to reference this on the podcast, and encourage you to visit him if you'd like to read more of his stuff at ericgeiger.com. That's Eric, E-R-I-C, and then Geiger is G-E-I-G-E-R. So ericgeiger.com, and check that out and more stuff on his blog. That's pretty much it for this day. We've had great things going on. I'm excited that school's back in session this week, and we will be able to hopefully have all of our families. Oh, what a blessing it would be to see all of our families show up on the same day in church. I would love that. It would be exciting. Just want to encourage you again to be here Wednesday night, if at all possible. Because you will be, I think, blessed and entertained and blessed. And I know that's a dangerous way to say that, but I think you will be, with the lessons that we're learning together in the chronological study of the Bible. And last but definitely not least, I want to encourage you to listen if you can't be here. Not if you don't want to, but if you can't be here, then listen on the app. I'm always interested in your feedback, whether it's from things you've heard, things I've preached, things I've taught, things that we're doing, not for the purpose of building up my idol of significance, but feedback that can help us grow or know that we are on the right track at Smith Street Baptist Church. Coming up next Monday, I'm going to have a special guest with me. If all works out, I'm going to be introducing our new ministry assistant, Jessica Bowen. So I'm excited about having Jessica join the ranks at Smith Street Baptist Church. And Lord willing, she'll be able to join us on the podcast. Though I have not told her that. I have not asked her if she would come on. So, it all depends on whether or not she's free. But I'm going to have a word of prayer and then dismiss. And I want you to have a blessed week and know that I do love you. I'm honored, and it is a privilege to be your pastor. I hope you feel as strongly about me being your pastor as I feel about being your pastor. I hope the blessing is as big. If not, maybe it will become bigger in the future. But until then, we'll just continue to plug away and pray. Let's do that now. Father, I thank you for this time and the technology and the ability to share your word and share encouragement with the body of believers. I thank you that we can reach not just this community through this app, but we're able to reach the entire world. And to those that are listening every week in other parts of the country, I thank you that they are part of the extended church that we get to serve and be a part of. I pray, Father, for the finances. I pray that you will increase the finances according to your will, that you will impress upon the hearts of those that are not giving to give, and help them to understand that your blessing comes as a reward of obedience to the giving. But even more so, we get to experience amazing ministry opportunities, and we get to live in that abundant life. So I just pray for you to meet the needs of the church, and not, Father, for any person in their flesh to meet the needs of the church. I thank you for this concert coming up. I thank you for this park event coming up and the bash coming up. And I pray, Lord, that as we get ready for this backpack bash and back to school bash, that you will bless us, bless the work that is being done, and bless the event, that people will come to know you through the gospel presentation as Lord and Savior, that the community will grow closer together, and that we will have a time of fellowship and a time of ministry together on Saturday. I thank you for Andrew Lillard and his family and the deacon ordination that's coming up, Lord, on Sunday, and I just pray your blessings on that and your blessings on all of our members and all of our visitors and every person who's listening as we work through this week. We love you, we thank you, we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you until next week. If we don't speak or see again, may God continue to keep you in his will, and may you continue to walk in obedience, standing upright through the grace of Jesus Christ. Goodbye, everyone.